Hi, welcome to All Things Possible. Welcome to me, Kris Barney, to be here with you and talk with you about one of the traits which I have come up with 7. And the one that we're going to talk about today is show sincere service. Now, for those of you who haven't followed me very long, I teach 7 traits that will change your life and change your business, change your success. And implementing these traits is the thing that is the biggest key. So I've gone through and I'm creating new videos for all 7 traits to teach you the difference and give you an acronym and some things that you can really wrap your brain around. Before we get started, I want to invite you to go to my website. So right here on the screen, it's allthingspossible.biz. Again, right here, allthingspossible.biz or krisbarney.com. You choose, and you can get our gifts. You can get the 7 traits that I teach all the time, the video series, and have that be something you can implement into your life and have immediate significant change. So join me there and we can get started working together and be a part of our community. We send out a newsletter and it has the current videos, the updated information that we give all the time and keeps you current with us. So join our community and be part of All Things Possible. So today I want to talk about show sincere service. So when I teach this trait, I teach that there's simple service and there's sincere service. Let's talk about simple service. In my book, this is according to Kris Barney, okay? This is the things that I've come up with over a long time of different challenges, different things in my life, different aspects of my life, where we had to do things differently. And a lot of that was to survive the challenge we were going through and the trials and stuff. But I want to just spend a few minutes with you and explain the sincere service versus the simple service. So simple service to me is something that I say you signed up for. What I mean by that is if you are in a relationship, so significant other, married, in just a steady relationship, you've signed up for that. You get to serve that person. And it's interesting that when you're first in that relationship, that's all you want to do. You want to serve that person and do all these things and you want to make them happy and you don't have any opinion on where you're going to eat or what movie you want to go to. You just want to be together, right? So after years and years of being with that person, you still get to serve each other. And that's simple service. It's required. You won't get along if you don't serve each other. That's a simple service. Another example is being a parent. So 30 years ago, I became a mother, and for the rest of my life, I get to serve those children. Now, there's people in this world that think, you're 18, goodbye, you're on your own. What I can tell you is, even after 18, you still get to be a parent. You still get to serve. You have grandchildren, you have posterity, you have all these things going on. So it doesn't just stop there. Another good example is if you have a job. So for those of you who have a job, have an employer, or you're self-employed, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to serve your clientele. You have got to do service in a big way to keep your customers, to keep those clients, to be able to build your business to be bigger. If you have an employer, you have certain requirements that you have to do. It's service that you get to do for you to keep your job. So it's the simple service. I like to look at simple service. I mean, it might be community, it might be your church, you might have signed up to be on the committee. There's service involved in every aspect of that. And that is simple service. It's the service that if you don't do it, you'll feel guilty. It's the service that you have to account for or say, yes, I did it, or I didn't do it. You're being accountable either to someone else or to yourself. Also, in that service, it is something that you feel obligated. There's some guilt involved if you don't do it. That's simple service. So the second one I want to talk about, and that's the one we're really going to focus in on today, is sincere service. Sincere service in my book is when you go and you do something for someone else. And a lot of times that's doing something for someone that they can't do for themselves. When you serve in a way that they could not do it without you. When you do sincere service, you're the one that is changed. You leave that service feeling differently. Your character has been raised. You are a better person by having done the service. It's not just a chore list. It's not just a list that's on, oh, I got to go visit these people, or I've got to go take food to the neighbors, or I've got to, go watch my son's soccer game. It's when you really are changed. It's when you do something for your children that they don't expect or they can't do for themselves. So sincere service takes it to a whole nother level, takes it really deep and makes it really condensed into meaningful service that is about what their most highest good is, meaning that you want to do for them what they can't do for themselves, or serve in a way that it is about what their needs are. Not your own agenda, not for yourself. So let's jump into this and let me give you some examples of where this is headed. So our first one is called sacrifice. Hopefully I spelled that right. Sacrifice. When we do sincere service, there is some sacrifice that's involved. Every time. So if you are the breadwinner at your house and you go to work, you have to sacrifice time away from your family, time away from your home, time out of your bed, right? If you're a parent, you get to sacrifice some of the things that you might have wanted because you have children to pay for, and you have to have their needs. In fact, a lot of parents, they are meeting the needs of the children and there's nothing left over. You get to Christmas, and there were many years in our lives where Christmas was very small for mom and dad and quite large for the children. Okay, there's sacrifice involved when it's sincere service. Okay, when it's doing something for someone else that they can't do for themselves, or when you are coming from a heart space, making a difference in someone's life and stepping up to whatever that is. Whether that's customer service in your company and you're meeting the needs of the people rather than how big is this commission I'm going to get, or how is this going to benefit me, right? When you take that out of the picture, there is sacrifice involved. So when we talk about sacrifice, there's sacrifice of time, there's sacrifice of talents and abilities, there's sacrifice of money. We can do sincere service, and sometimes that costs money. I say that because we do a huge sub for Santa. We stay completely anonymous, and every year it takes thousands of dollars. And I love that we're able to do that, but it's a sacrifice. We have to go without something else to have that money and be able to have that to spend and to do. So when we do sincere service, a lot of times it's scheduling it out. A lot of times it takes creating a financial way to have the ability to do that. And it also takes working really hard and having a focus that's headed in that direction. So sacrifice is huge. The second one that we have right here is humble. Okay, you're going to be like, what? To be humble, it's not all about you. You have to take a step back and be humble enough to say, what do they need? How can I best serve that person? How can I change a life? How can I, have a client for life? Have a client that actually sends referrals to me, right? There's a lot of different things in business and personal where we have to be humble. When we serve in a way that it is sincere service, it's humble. Sometimes we have to do some yucky jobs. Sometimes the service that's needed right now, my father is in the last stages of his life, and there's a lot of service that's not very fun. It's humbling. It's humbling to see him in that position in his life. So the second one is humble. It's not about you. It's about them. It's about what they deserve, what their needs are, and how you can best serve them. Okay, we keep these videos to about 15 minutes, so I have to run through things really quickly. This next one is operate. And I'm just going to tell you that you have to operate from your heart. In sincere service, if we are not operating from our heart, it's simple service. Guaranteed. If you are up in your head about what you're doing, complaining, finding fault, being upset about somebody didn't show up and they're not doing their part, it's simple service and you are stuck in your head. It is not sincere service. When you come from a heart space, when you operate from the heart, then you know that it is about them. It is about feeling differently and your heart being raised. You will feel the change. You will feel different. Your character is improved. When you operate from the heart, you know who needs service. You can walk in the grocery store and you can spot the person that doesn't have enough money for those groceries for those little kids. And they're budgeting, trying to figure it out. You spot them. When you operate from your heart, you know the person that's buying 2 gallons of gas instead of a whole tank. You're able to go, hey, I have an abundance, I can help you out. If you're operating from your heart, you know, you sense, I need to visit this person, or I need to call a sister, I need to call a friend. You are operating from your heart. When you operate from your heart, that is sincere service almost every single time. I have not ever found someone operating from their heart that wasn't doing sincere service. Because if you're operating from your heart, it's not a what's in it for me, and if I do this for you, I get that. What I can tell you is if you will operate in sincere service and you will operate from your heart, what you put out there comes back multiplied. And it shows up. You will be rewarded, but it might not be how you think it is going to show up. It might show up in its own way. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but if that's what you're looking for, that's simple service. That is not sincere service. So be careful and don't get caught in that trap. So far we have to sacrifice time, talent, ability, money. Okay, we have to create sacrifice to be sincere service. Somewhere you have to fit it in. You have to be able to arrange it. To be humble. It's not about you, it's about them. What is it that you can do to help them the most? Okay, sometimes the service that we do is humbling. It's getting out of our comfort zone. Doing what we can for someone else whenever possible. Operating from the heart. And the last one is willing. What I can tell you is when you are willing to do for others, it is easy to find a need. When I am in a fast food place and I see service people come in, I always buy their milk. My husband does too. Because they're out serving our country constantly. They're in service for me always. So sincere service is being willing to just walk up and swipe my card and say, lunch is on me. Okay? It's being willing to look. Look outside your comfort zone. Look outside of yourself to find where is a need that I could fulfill. Where is an area that I could make a difference? How can I step up and improve the situation? If it's at work, are you willing to not, spread gossip, to not create that drama in the office? Are you willing to be the bigger person? Are you willing to show service even if they have been mean to you? Are you willing to make a difference? Are you willing to help that customer get what they want, not what's a bigger commission or what's a better sell for you? Are you willing to see what their needs are, how those can be met? Because that's when it really shows up. So, when we show sincere service, we are sacrificing our time, talents, and abilities, money if necessary. We are humble. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about what they deserve, what they need, what's in it for them. Okay? What's in it for them? Operate from your heart. And If you will always operate from a heart space, you will always see the service that's needed. I see daily things I can do to help somebody else. Daily, I see ways that I can serve and be in sincere service. And be willing. Be willing to be the bigger person. Be willing to make those changes. Be willing to make a stand in sincere service. Service affects all of our lives on all different levels. And at some point, everyone will have a chance when they need service, when they need others to step up and assist them to get through what they're going through. And I've been on both sides. And for the most part, I love being on the sincere service. I had a tough time being a receiver, but being a receiver is still serving someone else and allowing them to assist you. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Short, sweet, quick, I know, but I'm trying to do these quickly so that you can get the bits and pieces and not have to watch a super long video and still get the concept of what we're teaching. I teach this all the time, and if you can lean yourself to sincere service rather than simple service and combine both. We need to do simple service all the time, but combine both so that it affects you, because it will change your life. Thanks for joining me today here on All Things Possible. Again, I'm Kris Barney, and thanks for being here. Bye-bye.